Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of Cutter One. I am your host, Jay, just Jay, your resident troublemaker and your resident culture warrior. I hope you are all doing well on this cold as crap Monday. I don't know where you guys are, but where I am here in the central northeast of the United States, it was freaking cold this morning. Woo! All right, yeah, woke my ass up. It was about as warm and inviting as Guy Ladriel's heart in Rings of Power. It was a tempest, if you will. Anyway, sorry, just going off on a little tangent there. Anyway, I hope you are all doing well, you beautiful badasses. Let's get right into it. As a lot of stories came out, as you know, on the 18th. Which was yesterday, was the 20th anniversary of the Two Towers. Two Towers premiered December 18th of 2002. So it was the 20th anniversary. So there was a lot of Lord of the Rings, Two Towers ish stuff. Several YouTube channels were doing watch parties and stuff like that for the Two Towers. So that's cool. But there was also a bunch of articles. And the articles, to say they ran the gamut from being like totally like, hey, the Two Towers 20 years later, all the way through to, Peter Jackson didn't know what the hell he was doing because he didn't put enough politics into his movies. And there's everything in between. So let's get right into it. Okay, this is coming to us from the folks over at Screen Rant, and it says, and this is just from 4 hours ago, my time, so you're seeing me record this. This was recorded Monday night, so this was 4 hours ago Monday night. You guys are probably going to see it on Tuesday. So let's get right into it. Amazon listened to Lord of the Rings fans' feedback for the Rings of Power. According to an Amazon executive, fan studies were conducted after each new episode of The Lord of the Rings of Power, to gather feedback. Oh, apparently they were talking to fans. Who knew? An Amazon Studios executive reveals that extensive fan feedback was gathered as each new episode of The Lord of the Rings of Power was released. Based on the beloved fantasy novels by author J.R.R. Tolkien, Prime Video's The Rings of Power chronicles the rise of evil during the Second Age of Middle-earth. Although the series takes place thousands of years before the events of Peter Jackson's acclaimed The Lord of the Rings trilogy, several characters, including Galadriel, Morfydd Clark, and Elrond, Robert Aramayo, do make their return, albeit as much younger iterations. For the most part, The Rings of Power was well received by fans and critics, but many viewers did take issue with various aspects of the show. Understatement of 2022 right there. Let's continue. As production on The Rings of Power Season 2 continues in the UK, Amazon Studios head of global television, Vernon Sanders, reveals in a new interview with comicbook.com that the studio conducted a study with thousands of the Lord of the Rings fans after each new episode was released. As a result, Sanders recognizes that some fans weren't happy with the adaptation, despite the fact that the Tolkien estate was closely involved with its creation. Check out Sanders' full comment below. Quote, "We set up our own study with thousands of people, among them thousands of the Lord of the Rings fans, to really have a conversation with them as each episode dropped, to just understand how they were reacting. We were doing as much of a 360 comprehensive look to really understand it. And I think we got a lot of those The Lord of the Rings fans, both fans of the books and fans of the movies. We also know that there were some fans who had issues or didn't feel like this was what they were expecting or done in the way that they expected. And that's natural. I think whenever you take on something that's so beloved, you're going to have probably a strong reaction for and have some people who just aren't on board. Having Simon Tolkien and the Tolkien estate helping us, I think gave us some comfort that we were doing the best that we could and that having their endorsement meant a lot." Unquote. While The Rings of Power was the target of a racist backlash regarding the casting of actors of color, a completely illegitimate and unfortunate line of criticism. No, fuck you. Very legitimate and very fortunate that fans were finally speaking out against this nonsense, but I digress. There were some notable fan complaints as well. Many fans of the Lord of the Rings books took issue with the fact that some story events and characters were pushed together for the sake of narrative convenience. The Middle Earth's Second Age covers about 3,500 years worth of history, and showrunners Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne condensed much of this extensive period of time in order to tell their specific story. Isildur, Maxim Baldry, for example, is introduced in the Rings of Power about 1,500 years before he is supposed to have been born. Another common complaint regarding the Rings of Power is that, in general, it lacks some narrative momentum and urgency. While later episodes certainly upped the stakes significantly, especially with the eruption of Mount Doom and the reveal that Halbrand, Charlie Vickers, has actually been Sauron all along, early episodes do move at a more leisurely pace, with some events feeling relatively inconsequential. It could be argued that this is, in fact, in keeping with Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings books. Which do often move story events along quite slowly. But some fans were evidently hoping for a little more momentum in Prime Video's expansive adaptation. I think the fans have some valid criticisms about that. I mean, if you're condensing 3,500 years worth of history into essentially 5 10-episode seasons or 50 episodes, yes, I do think then it's incumbent upon you to, quote unquote, keep it moving and not waste any time. You know, that's 3,500 years worth of storytelling that you're trying to condense into 50 episodes. Yet nobody should be having to complain that your episodes are slow and boring and pointless, but they did. Anyway, it remains to be seen what season 2 has in store for fans, but the reveal that Amazon was gathering extensive amounts of feedback on season 1 could be a positive sign for the episodes to come. That being said, McKay and Payne have previously revealed that they've had all 5 seasons of the show mapped out for some time, so it's not clear how much things will deviate from their original vision heading into future seasons of The Rings of Power. With production still underway, it will unfortunately be quite a while before fans get a closer look at what's to come in The Lord of the Rings of Power Season 2. All right, a couple of things to go over there. Yeah, like I said, I think that, they, again, we know they're going to do this, okay? They're going to bring up the whole racist fan trope, the racist fan thing, to shut down criticism, okay? That at this point, it's not a legitimate talking point that they're using to try, because they never show why it's illegitimate or even why it's racist. They just say racist comments because you complained that there were people that were black in the show, and completely missed the context of why people were saying that you were basically tokenizing these characters, and just putting a black elf in there to check a box or a black dwarf in there to check a box. They put it as, oh, it's just racist fans, but any of the fans like myself will tell you, no, I don't care if somebody's black in the show, but what you did was literally just create a single one lonely black elf in all of Middle-earth with no fucking backstory. There is nothing that connects him to the rest of Middle-earth. He is the only black elf we see. And we don't know where he comes from. We don't know the story of his particular people, okay? You created nothing. You just said, hey, we're going to cast a black actor to play this character, and you left it at that. And then when we, the fans, mention this, you say that it is just a racist backlash and it's completely illegitimate. No, it's very legitimate. So I take issue with that. I also take issue with them sort of downplaying and saying, oh, well, Tolkien told some of his stories, that the pacing was slow. And yes, but Tolkien wasn't trying to condense anything. If anything, Tolkien's stories were expansive. meaning when you were reading slow chapters in the Fellowship of the Ring or in any of the other works, it was usually at the beginning of something that was expanding. It wasn't trying to condense stuff. If you are trying to condense 3,500 years worth of history into 50 episodes of a TV show, as they've said they're trying to do, then yes, it is perfectly within reason that fans would say, hey, why are like 5 of these episodes in a row so damn slow? Okay, you're trying to condense three and a half thousand years of history. I should not be watching a slow, boring episode. That's a legitimate gripe that fans have. The main thing here is, so they were conducting audience feedback as each episode dropped. That's interesting, considering that production of season 2 began within a month of the season finale of season 1, and didn't Pain and Decay also say that, like, hey, the cake had already been baked, like we hear what they're saying, but like the cake had already been baked, so we're gonna do our own thing anyway, but hey, we heard you. So the fact that now this Vernon Sanders is saying that they were conducting what would amount to weekly surveys of fan reactions of thousands of people, among them. Okay, so you have thousands of people, and within those thousands of people, there were thousands of Lord of the Rings fans of both the books and the movies. Does anybody know what the hell he's talking about? Like, where are these fans? Are these like the same super fans that were doing all those like, shill media events for you? Those influencers who were like, I could fix Sauron and stuff like that. But then when you go to their social media sites, they're like, well, I haven't watched it. I was too busy watching House of the Dragon. Are those the thousands of fans that you're talking about, Amazon? 'Cause, again, I don't know. I follow multiple Tolkien fan YouTube channels and forums and I've never seen anybody saying, hey, guess what? I was contacted by Amazon. They want to each weekly episode, they want me to fill out a survey after the episode airs so I can give them immediate feedback. I don't know anybody who said that. If you guys know anybody who had that experience, let me know. But I'm calling shenanigans on that one, Mr. Sanders, because I don't know of any Tolkien fans that are publicly saying that, yes, I was involved in a survey group for Amazon that as they dropped each episode, they were getting our real-time feedback. And if they were, apparently it didn't make any difference, because when this fan feedback was brought up to Pain and Decay, they were like, yeah, we heard you, but the cake has already been in the oven. So too bad, so sad, bye-bye. So I don't know what's the point of him putting this out there, well, I mean, I do know what the point is. The point is to get fans to back off. That's what the point is. Like, yeah, we're listening to you. We heard you, bro. But the reality is, Pain and Decay have already indicated otherwise. And if you were getting this real-time feedback, it doesn't seem to have amounted to much, because, there's been no public statement. There's no like, hey, we're changing course. We're going to redo this or anything like that. You're just like, hey, we already had our plan for all 5 seasons anyway. We're not changing it for you. So just deal with it. So I don't see the point in any of this, but maybe they did, but I don't know anybody who said, hey, I was on some survey for Rings of Power. But yeah. Anyway, a lot of shenanigans going on, but I just thought that was interesting that they were trying to say that, like, yes, we're listening to the fans. We care about the fans. We love our Tolkien fans. Yeah, no, not buying it. Sorry. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you like the video, like the video. If you feel like sharing the video, please do so. It gets it out there. It gets it seen by more people. If you have not subscribed, I hope you would consider subscribing to the channel, because it helps it do its algorithmically algorithmical things that it does. I don't know. YouTube likes it, so the more people that subscribe, the more YouTube is willing to push it out there in front of people. And if you have subscribed and you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much. I appreciate you. You know that you are a beautiful badass, and that's all I got on this particular issue. But wait, folks, there was a lot today, so there'll be more. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Until then, be good, be safe, be awesome. Peace.